All right, folks, I think we're going here. Welcome to this experiment, trying to record myself for the week I'm going to be missing next week. Really good to see all of you guys, even though I can't see you. Hope your week's going well. Hope ukulele is going well. So this is week 2, UkeLab standard track. We're going to be going over some of the beginner and intermediate parts. I just want to start a little bit of review. Just talk about the rhythms that we were doing last week. Those chords that we were working on, and then explain a few concepts kind of between the intermediate and the beginner part. So yeah, thanks for joining me. Thanks for all your hard work in UkeLab. And please, guys, feel free to let me know if you have any questions, any problems accessing this stuff. You can let me know via the Slack, or you can shoot me an email or shoot me a text, smoke signal, whatever it is you want to do. Let me just do a quick camera test. It looks like everything's working well. So and why don't we just warm up? We'll start with the rhythm that we were working on last week. For the beginners, it sounds like this: 1, 2, and 4. And remember, the key here is to keep that hand moving between those up strums, right? So let's try it. 1, 2, just the rhythm. Remember, you can cover the strings to get this percussive effect, or you can also just keep the strings open. All right, let's start with some of those chords we worked on last week. E flat, 1, 2, ready, E flat, and B flat, C minor, and back to B flat. Good job. Here we go, E flat, and B flat, C minor, and B flat. Last one, let's finish on E flat. Nicely done. If any of you guys are having a little bit of trouble with that bar, remember the key things to sort of focus on are the idea that what you're trying to do is basically fret 2 strings with 1 finger, right? I was discussing that exercise that I wanted people to kind of look at. One way that you can make this a little less challenging is to really just focus on the thing that you're really wanting to work on in terms of technique. So if you play 0, 0, 1, and 0, and then just work on getting that finger to flatten. So you're playing 0, 0, 1, and 1. That's a nice exercise to get you through. Yeah? And if you find that, very simple, very, very easy to pull off, then you can always just add the middle finger. And now you've got the complete B flat chord whence you bar. Right? The other things I wanted to kind of discuss too is it's really important when you're gripping the ukulele. Here is our open grip, where we want to kind of grab all of our chord shapes. When we switch into this place where we want to bar, does everybody see how now my finger is kind of making a 90-degree angle right here? Just right there. In order to allow me to do that, what I want to actually do is pull back on the instrument. See how here my thumb was in front? And now what I'm doing is sort of slipping to the stem of my thumb, right? And I like to turn the pitch of the thumb just a touch so that it's more parallel to the, parallel to the ukulele neck versus perpendicular like this, okay? So, you can just work on some whole note exercises moving from B flat with the A string open and then pressing down, getting B flat with it fretted. Just working that, really trying to get the flexibility of that finger, starting to teach it to give this little extra hit right there. Okay? Now that we got that, remember verse progression: E flat to B flat to C minor, back to B flat. Let's give it a try. 1, 2 with the rhythm. Here we go. E flat, and then B flat, and then C minor, and then B flat, and then E flat. Took my love, took it down, back to B flat, E flat, climbed the mountain, never turned around. All right, last one, and let's finish on E flat. Nicely done. I think that, making this jump in from the beginner part to the intermediate part is one of the is one of the things that I think everybody should be attempting to challenge themselves with, especially as we get into week 3 and 4. You know, you really want to have your part solidified, be able to play it well in the beginner way, and then if you want to take on the challenge of moving to the intermediate part. Today I want to spend a little time just discussing how I sort of view the rhythmic perspective when it comes to that jump between the beginner and intermediate parts. So one thing you'll notice is that, you know, if I write out this rhythm that you'll find in the sound slice, and hopefully everybody is kind of working towards, one of the things you see about this rhythm is there's your rhythm. And what I want to sort of point out is also that, you know, these spaces are almost as important. You know, the places we aren't playing, we always think about those in almost kind of directionality where our hand is moving, but we're not touching the strings, right? So if we think about this, you know, this format for rhythm almost as being a predictability that my hand's going to be moving in the same way each time. When I look at the picking pattern, I'll just go ahead and write it out. The picking pattern looks like this: C, E, G, A, E, G, right? I'm sorry. The next one is not G. It's C, just like that. C, E, G, A, E, C. Now, one of the things I want you to kind of notice here is this idea that directionality is really important for me in terms of, you know, ergonomic, very natural movement when we talk about ukulele. Now, if I go back to this and I think about a 3-finger pattern, if I sign each of these letters with a motion, right? The motion, the direction that my finger's actually traveling, then it kind of lines up, right? The only difference in this pattern is here, right? Is this extra sound that I'm playing on the offbeat. But otherwise, it's really directionality that sort of tells me what each of these fingers are supposed to be. So the C, I'm going to be playing with my thumb, which is a downward direction. The E, which I didn't play in the last rhythm, but is sort of the correct direction, would be up because it's on an offbeat. I'm going to play that with my pointer finger, the E string, and then I'm going to play G with a down with my thumb, and then I'm going to play A with my middle or my pointer, whichever you're doing. And then I skip over the 3, which means I'm kind of up to another up strum. I'm going to play that E string with my pointer finger, and then I'm going to play on the downbeat. On 4, I'm going to be playing that C, right? So when you look at this, kind of ordering, what you end up with is sort of the same motion, right? You get C, E, G, A, E, C, or down, up, down, right? And I wanted to just kind of like throw that out there because a lot of times people think like, oh, finger picking, it's such a mystery. Like, how do you do it? How do you connect things? And really, I like to think about this template. It's almost like when I'm making downward movements, those are going to be replacing the down strums happening on each beat. And when I'm making upward movements, those are going to replace the up strums happening on the off beats, right? So let's see if we can dive into that. If you're working on just the beginner part, you can try your best with this and hopefully be challenging yourself with it by the end of the month. So the picking pattern sounds like this: C, E, G, and A, right? So let's just look at that first half: C, E, G, and A, all eighth notes, 1 and 2 and, right? Now here, what you'll notice is that I am playing the inside strings, C and E, and then the outside strings. That's kind of a nice way for me to, you know, put it, to frame it in my own mind, is that I'm playing the inside, outside. So that's the beginning of your pattern: inside, outside. And then I'm going to finish with the and of 3, and then the downbeat on 4 with the E and the C strings. So let's just try the beginning pattern: inside, outside. 1, 2, ready, and inside, outside. Ready, inside, outside, and then C, E, G, A. 2 more times. C, E, G, A. Just like that. 1 more time. C, E, G, A. Last time. C, E, G, A. So we're going to add this movement, E and G. And remember, after the A string, we got to wait a quarter note. So it's a little bit of space. 1, 2, Ready? Sounds like this. C, E, G, A, E, C. C, E, G, A, E, C. Two more times. C, E, G, A, E, C. Last time. Let's see if we can give it another try. 1, 2. Ready? Again. C, E, G, A, E, C. Last time, C, E, G, A, E, C. And remember, we can also view that as down, up, down, up, up, down on the E string and then the C string, right? I think that you always want to try to identify the right and left hand patterns as being independent of themselves. So really think about when you're practicing, try and, if this picking pattern is something you want to ingrain into your body, really what you need is lots and lots of repetition. So try to keep that in mind, try to get as many reps as you can throughout the week. That's what I would be doing every single time I pick up my uke, is 30 seconds of that pattern, not even incorporating chords. One of the cool things I think might be used with like this recorded video is the idea of like stopping and working on that for a while, and then maybe pressing play back again on the video and kind of continue with the lesson. So if you want some time, you can work on that part, minute or two, and then kind of come back to it. For right now, I'm going to be adding the left-hand chords out of the context of the tune right now. We'll just go a few rotations, E flat, and then I'll call out the chords from there. 1, 2, 1, 2, picking pattern. Here we go. There's the picking pattern in E flat. Last one to B flat. Here we go. 1. There's my picking pattern. And if this is all too difficult and you're only getting that strum pattern, you can still play that pattern along with what I'm doing. And then picking. Last one. 1, 2, ready, C minor. Ready, B flat. Ready, E flat. Here we go. 1, 2, ready, switch. C, E, G, A, E, C. And C minor. Flat. Here we go. And let's finish on E flat. All right, so if I think about the progression, E flat to B flat to C minor to B flat, and that's sort of my flow through the tune. Let's give it a try. 1, 2, one measure each. 1, 2, E flat. Here we go. 2, B flat. C minor. 2, B flat. Took my love, took it down. And let's finish on E flat. All right, normally I'd say, you guys got any questions, but you can't ask me. So if you do have any questions, make sure you post them in the Slack thread. I'll see if I can get some answers for you as soon as possible. I think the next place I wanted to go was try and get a little bit into the chorus of this tune. Now, if you have the song sheet in front of you, and here's a great place. If you don't have a song sheet, you can just hit pause and tell me to pause a moment while you go and pick up that song sheet. You really want to pay attention to those first 2 lines underneath the title, right? Those letters in bold, that kind of like little diagram is going to give you the chord progressions for the tunes. Remember, there's usually only 1 or 2 of those in every song. So it really helps if we can create these maps for ourselves and really start to learn the routine of moving between these chords. Our verse progression sounds like this: E flat to B flat to C minor, back to B flat, and then repeats. It's just going to keep Continue to do that throughout the tune. So really get the feeling of the transitions of those chords as well as you can into muscle memory. And then you won't really have to think about that in terms of your, your brain processing while you're playing. You really just want to get this flow into muscle memory. So if you take a look at the second line down below that, the verse E flat to B flat to C sharp, C minor to B flat, and then you look down below and you've got a little bit of a longer progression. But one thing I want you to notice is that the second half of it is actually very similar, and in the second ending is actually identical to the verse progression, right? So it's really only a set of forwarding chords that you need to learn. So the first chord is B flat, which we've been working, right? Now we've got F chord next. And if you really are looking for something that can make it a little simpler, you can play F add 9. You can replace that F chord with that. That's kind of a nice transition. I've been afraid of changing, right? It's a nice kind of stepping stone if you're working on the beginner part and struggling a little bit with these transitions. So it goes B flat to F, which all of us pretty much know. We're going to just think about the next chord shape. If this is the first time you played it, it's 0 on the G string, middle finger 2nd fret on the C string, ring finger 3rd fret on the E string, and then pointer finger 1st fret on the A string. This G minor, probably a new chord shape for some of us. Not very, not super challenging to play, but will take some time if it's a new chord. So make sure you're practicing transitioning in between that chord and, the entry and the exit. So the entry here would be F to G minor. The exit would be E flat. Now, one of the things I really love about the connection between these chords is how similar these chord shapes are. If you play an F chord like this, 2, 0, 1, and 0. Really, to move to a G minor, my first step might be just taking this F chord, and it's almost like the F chord is taking the elevator down. Let's see if I drop one floor on each of these strings, right? Then I have 0, 2, 0, and 1. And to finish out the G minor, all I've got to do is put my ring finger down on the 3rd fret on the E string, right? So it's really just taking an F chord, dropping it down one level, and then making one addition here. So F, drop it down, and then here, right? See if we can try that. Whole notes moving between F to G minor. 1, 2, ready. Here's the F. 2, and ready, we move it down. Nice. Ready, and back to F. Remember, those first two fingers, they're actually identical in shape. They're just change positions, and one has an addition. Hop those fingers up, you've got F. Hop them down, plus add the ring finger, and you've got G minor. F, 2, 3, and then G minor. Beautiful. And last time, F, 2, 3, and then there's your G minor chord. Now, if you look at the difference between a G minor and an E flat, those chords are actually very, very similar in shape. The only difference is this middle finger right here, just shifting up 1/2 step, right? 2nd fret on the C string here, 3rd fret on the C string here. Everything else stays the same. So that transition, very, very intuitive. And remember, if we can memorize the movement, then we're in a lot better shape when it comes to trying to get our muscle memory developed. Okay, let's give it a try. Here we go. G minor to E flat. 1, 2, G minor, and now push the middle finger up to the 3rd fret. 2, and G minor. Nice. And E flat. Beautiful. 2 more times. G minor. 2, ready, E flat. Last time, here we go. 2, ready, E flat. Beautiful. All right, let's see if we can just review the changes, kind of do that on your own. Remember F dropping down to G minor, and then middle finger moving up to E flat. Then we can create a 3-measure exercise. And remember, if you start every practice or every time you pick up your uke, even if you don't have time to practice, just running these warm-ups, 3-measure exercise, whole notes, F to G minor to E flat, those little moments in the tune where you're having trouble suddenly get the exposure and the repetition they need, yeah? So let's give it a try. 3-measure exercise, whole notes moving from F to G minor to E flat. 1, 2, F chord to start. Here we go. F. Remember, hop it all the way down, add the ring finger. 2, move the middle finger up. There's our E flat. Yeah, here we go. F. Nice. And drop it down, add the ring finger. There's our G minor. And then there's our E flat. 2 more times, just like that. F, 2, ready, drop it down, find G minor. 2, ready, move the middle finger up. And 1 more time, F. Beautiful. Hop it down, G minor. 2, ready, middle finger up. And there's your E flat. Cool. So our whole progression sounds like this. B flat to F to G minor. And we have 2 measures here that we're on G minor. And then remember, what you're kind of doing is starting the verse progression again. Build my life around you. Now here, where we get to the end of this progression, you're going to see some brackets, some little parentheses. Remember, what's enclosing this whole figure or this whole progression is what are called repeat brackets, right? That little emoticon looking thing with the straight lips, right? It's on either side of the progression, and that just means repeat what you're doing. Now, if you see something in parentheses at the end of one of these, what these refer to is a first ending and a second ending, which means on the first go through, you're going to end this progression with F. On the second go through, you're going to skip outside the bracket and find what's in the parentheses outside as your second ending, which is the B flat, right? So this whole thing would be, I've been F, afraid of G minor, changing twice because I've, and E flat, build my B flat life around you. And now first ending is F, which turns me back into B flat. Time makes you bolder, G minor, and I'm repeating the whole thing the same. Children get older, and I'm B flat getting older too. Now here's where I skip outside the brackets, find the B flat. There's my second ending, right? And that B flat's going to turn you back into the E flat chord, either in the verse or into an instrumental piece. So, you know, those repeat brackets are important, but really think about it almost like you're just playing these phrases until you're, you know, you're almost like told to transfer, you know, you're told to move to a new part. So I'm playing this verse until it's time to go into the chorus. And then I'm playing the chorus until it pivots me back into that verse progression. Let's give us a chance or a try with whole notes moving through those chords. And let's just use, you know, super simple. Let's just roll through the chord, hang for 4 beats. Cool. 1, 2, you're playing with me. 1, 2, ready, B flat. I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I build my life around you. And then F, first ending, and the time makes you older, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. And second ending. Nice. And let's finish on E flat. Cool. Let's give it a try. I'm going to kind of fluctuate between the strumming and then also the picking pattern. So you go ahead and decide what you're going to do for the rhythm. Let's see if we can kind of add it now. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, ready, B flat. I've been afraid of changing, 'cause I'm build my life around you. And the chime makes older, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Try that again, and I'll strum through this one. 1, 2, ready, B flat. I've been afraid of changing, So that's what I really wanted to focus on, was this sort of, commonalities, but also, differences in the two rhythmic ideas that we're going to be playing for this tune, the beginner and the intermediate. I really like to think about this picking pattern down at the bottom. This picking pattern, really what you're doing is kind of replacing each of these sounds, right? Even though this one we leave blank in the beginner part, we're sort of substituting these spaces. We're creating a different sound in each of these spaces within the measure. And really, this is a nice perspective to start to develop, because it kind of teaches you that no matter what rhythm you know how to play, you can immediately transfer and turn it into a picking pattern. You can take a picking pattern you know how to do and replace some of those sounds with some strumming, where you get kind of a combination, right? I really love this idea of treating picking almost like an extension of the basics of rhythm that we've been studying, through our time here in UkeLab. So, yeah, I usually feel like this is a moment when I should say, do you have any questions? You can just say them into the computer and I won't answer them, but be sure to send those over to me, or save your questions for next week when we're meeting in person. I wanted to spend a little bit of time just kind of talking about a more meta, like kind of overview, an overview of how we should be looking at this tune, right? I really wanted to have the ability to sort of be able to switch cameras due to some technical, switch screens, be able to share the screen of that PDF so you guys could see it here, but due to some technical difficulties, couldn't figure out how to do it. So just be sure you have a hard copy in front of you when we're looking over this. I wanted to sort of start at the intro, right? If we look at this in kind of a meta overview, like a roadmap of how we're going to play this entire song, what you see is that we play the verse progression: E flat, B flat, C minor, and B flat. We kind of play that 2 times through, and we serve as an intro without singing, right? So it's like B flat, back to, and you just play twice, and then we jump into the verse. Took it down. You're going to play through that and then have sort of 2 rotations of that verse. And then the next thing you see that's sort of out of the ordinary, or out of the things that we've talked about, is when you get to this instrumental break. Now, I want you to see that really the first rotation of this repeating figure is the exact same as the verse progression. So you're going to continue to play E flat, B flat, C minor, B flat again. And now on the second rotation, you're going to play the first 3 chords the same. And here, when you go second ending F. Now, does everybody notice how there's a little bit of an energy change, or it's almost like this chord is kind of signaling us that something different is going to happen in the song, because we've heard this progression now about 12 times in a row, and now we end it differently, which actually takes me to the chorus. Afraid of. So when you hear that F, it's almost like a signal or a pivot to get you into the beginning of the chorus. Now, that idea of F taking us to B flat, it actually gets played out a few times after this. So I've played through that sort of instrumental. I've turned back into the chorus. I'm playing through the chorus once. Now, on the first rotation, I end with the F chord, which actually gets me back to B flat at the beginning of the chorus again. And on the second time, I'm playing B flat, which gets me to E flat, and then there's a little instrumental break, just like we did right before the chorus. So I'll go ahead and play through that. So it's like, we'll start at the beginning of the instrumental, right? So it's E flat, B flat, C minor, first ending B flat, E flat, B flat, now C minor, and then I go turn with the F. I've been afraid. Now I'm into the chorus. Changing, 'cause I built my life around you. And now I'm going to turn it back to the B flat with the F. Time makes older, even children get older. I here, when I go B flat, that's going to take me into an instrumental break, just like I did before the chorus. And first time B flat, second time F. I turn it again back into the beginning of the chorus. I've been afraid. Here's our second rotation. Changing, cause I build my life around you. Turn it again with F. Time makes you older. Even children get older. And I'm getting older too. I'm getting old too. Now, this is sort of a new venture for me to kind of put repeat brackets around the actual lyrics of the song. So here at the end of the second chorus, or the second rotation of the chorus, I guess, you see repeat brackets against surrounding that one line, I'm getting older too. That's just an addition. It's almost like a tag. You guys have heard me use that term a lot in class. It's just basically you playing what you just played over again, right? And that's what you hear when you go, I'm getting older too. Repeat what you just said. I'm getting older too. And maybe in your own arrangement, there's a bunch of those tags. I'm getting older too. That would be a lovely way to end this song, right? I really hope that everybody's kind of starting to understand a little bit more about how music functions, right? It's not just reading the page from the beginning to the bottom, song's over, right? It's more just kind of understanding the moving parts of the tune, right? This is the verse. This F chord pivots me from that verse progression into the chorus, right? The chorus can pivot into the verse progression, and it can go straight into a verse, or it can pivot back into another round of the chorus. I really, hope you guys are understanding that what we're trying to do is understand the moving parts of music and actually, use those functionally as our tools instead of just I'm reading off of a page, right? I think it makes you a lot better musician in terms of understanding. And I also think you can really get creative with your own arrangements. What I wrote down on the page doesn't have to be your version of the song. Maybe you want to play another verse. Maybe you want to be creative and write a verse to the song. I'm going to make up my own lyrics and create a new verse that I sing. And now you kind of understand how to get into that verse from the chorus. You understand how to pivot into the chorus from that verse, right? Yeah, that was kind of the main sort of overview or the meta view of what I wanted to show you in the arrangement, right? You really spend the time and the energy in your practice to develop the skills to be able to do each of these sections, and then it comes time to sort of assemble them, right? One thing that I could see as well is if you were working on the beginner part and you wanted to challenge yourself with the picking part, maybe what you could do is in each of these instrumentals where you're not singing, you could attempt to do the picking pattern. And then while you're singing, to do something a little simpler, you could strum, right? You could start with that intro. And then when you start singing, took my love, took it down. That would be a really nice contrast. And what I really want you to see is that when we think about rhythm, it's not really like this is the strum pattern, in quotation marks. This is how you play this song. It's more like this is a rhythmic idea or a rhythmic concept that I'm applying to the chord progression I know goes with this tune. Let's see if we can give it a try. We'll go kind of through the verse, and then we'll try it with all these little instrumental breaks. And I want you to choose. Like I said, I'm going to maybe be kind of pivoting back and forth between the picking and the strumming, but you go ahead and choose which one of those you want to try, which rhythmic idea, and then we'll try and flow through a little bit of this tune. I do need to have it open, so give me 1 second while I open it up. Here we go. All right, and now that I've got it open, like I said, we're going to go kind of a slow tempo here, and you just pick which rhythm you're going to do, either the picking or the strumming. And remember, getting each of these parts independently into muscle memory. The easiest way to do that is to take one of them away, right? Work on the strumming just by itself. Work on the chords without the strumming. It's going to give you a lot straighter line to the place that we want, the end goal that we're trying to get to. All right, let's give it a try. Here we go. We're going to start with the intro. 1, 2, 1, 2, E flat. Here we go. Intro. E flat, C minor, to B flat. And then there's the picking. And remember, if you're challenging yourself with that and that feels challenging, you can go strumming when you start the words. Took my love, took it down. I climbed a mountain and I turned around. And I saw my reflection in the snow-covered hill till the landslide brought me down. All right, verse 2. Mirror in the sky, what is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tide? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Here's our instrumental. First ending B flat, second time through. Remember that F chord, it's going to take us into the chorus. Here we go. Ready? And I've been afraid of changing 'cause I've built my life around you. F gets us back to B flat. Time makes you bolder. Even children can get older, and I'm getting older too. Second time B flat gets us into the instrumental. B flat, C minor. First time B flat. And remember, second chord, second ending, F gets us back into the chorus. Well, I've been afraid of changing 'cause I built my life around you. Well, the time makes older, even children get older, and I'm getting older too. Second ending B flat, and remember, you just repeat that. I'm getting older too. And now you're into verse 2, right? Took my love, took it down. So, yeah, it was good. I think we got some content down. I'm going to be posting the PDF notes, and then obviously you can rewatch the stream as many times as you want to. And yeah, kind of take benefit in it. If you're going to rewatch it, especially, you can skip parts, you can pause during sections to help you, give you a few more rotations if something's uncomfortable. But otherwise, that's about it I had for week 2 for the standard track. Thanks again, guys, for all your support. Also for doing this little experiment with me so I can take some time off and spend it with my family. Probably when you're watching this, I'm going to be up in the mountains somewhere in southern Colorado. So be safe out there, and we'll talk soon. All right. Bye.